Da 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 da. Welcome to the London show. I'm me, Tiger Smith, I guess, and here are the other people.
I am also here, and we're going to talk about things. What are we going to talk about today?
Oh, many wonderful things, I'm sure. Alright, so today on the London show, we're going to start by talking about the Star Wars prequels reboots. Now, this was an idea that we brought up earlier today that I kind of wanted to explore a little more. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I think we can all agree that Star Wars reboots of the prequels would be pretty good at this point. Please, tell us more.
I think we should reboot the whole series, refilm the original trilogy, with new, younger actors.
Who would these younger actors be? Like, would Han Solo be played by Chris Pine?
Chris Pratt.
Yes, I accept.
And Shia LaBeouf as Luke Skywalker.
So, who would be Leia then?
Katy Perry, of course. It was the first random person.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, she's broody enough. Harrison Ford can be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This is your lights. Oh no, that's DeForest Kelly. Dang it, Luke, this is your lightsaber. I'm dead now, Luke. Yeah. Harrison Ford. I love it.
Getting back on topic, why don't you get back to your idea of a Star Wars prequel reboot that you talked about?
Alright, so at first I was like, no, this is a terrible idea. But then I got thinking about it, and it might actually be a perfect idea. Okay, because the prequels came out in the early 2000s, which was when CGI was kinda coming into its own, but not quite there yet. We didn't quite reach the
Jurassic Park. 1992. Still holds up.
When I say CGI coming into its own, I don't mean that in a good way. See, back then it was very sparse, and that was good. But anyway, now we're kind of in that phase where we could really do it well.
I agree, because you look at a movie like The Avengers, which has a lot of CGI in it, but it's done well and it's used appropriately. I think about a lot of the things I liked in the prequels, and where the scenes are not CGI, those are actually really fun to look at. All of the forced scenes.
Especially when they're walking and talking.
Anywhere that's shot in Italy. And I was trying to think, yeah, I'm sure they got some great desert shots for the battles, and no, they didn't.
Additionally, I feel like the writing has come into its own at this point. Early 2000s movies are kind of meh-ish, and now you're about to rain 1,000 examples of why that's not true.
I'm not going to rain examples on you, but don't discount the early 2000s movie. The thing you have to understand is it has nothing to do with the writing of the time so much as it has to do with the writing of one George Lucas.
Yeah, that pretty much hits it on the head. The writers seem to have become a little more self-aware at this point, and that really helped The Force Awakens, and it could do wonders for the prequels.
Well, the real test will be how Rogue One plays out. We were all kind of gunning for The Force Awakens, so they had to really do a good job with it. Rogue One, the honeymoon's over, so now we're going to see if they can actually do good Star Wars here out, or if this is going to be the Halo 5 of Star Wars.
The trailer for Rogue One looks awesome, but so did the trailer for Star Wars Episode 1.
So, Rogue One, remind me again, that's Finn and Rey are stealing the plans to Starkiller Base?
No, don't do that. Just no, on so many levels. No.
We're better than that. We're better Star Wars fans than that.
We're getting off topic. Back to Star Wars prequels reboots.
Yes. So, Liam Neeson would be back as Qui-Gon Jinn. And I don't know, we could have some hipster play Anakin.
There's no reason you couldn't bring back a lot of the same actors. Shoot, we could even take Hayden Christensen back if you wanted. Because Disney's not afraid to retcon things in the Star Wars universe. Just retcon all of that and start over from scratch. Give these actors a better chance this time.
I'd love to see Darth Maul have a bigger role, maybe for more than one movie.
So basically what you're saying, Robert, is what if the Star Wars prequels were good?
I didn't want to actually say that, but now that you mention it, yes. No copyright intended.
Well, guess what? You did it anyway.
Yes. So I think they could make a ton of money out of redoing the sequels, and they could totally play it up in the marketing. This time, it's good.
I think it would work. We'd all go and see that. We'd all have higher expectations because, well, they can't do any worse than what they already did, and we'd have a lot more faith in the writers.
And Disney would make a ton of money.
They could get really ironic and pay off a certain internet reviewer of the Star Wars movies to advertise for it.
This is going to sound kind of random, but I realized we forgot to do a sound check early on, so hopefully this is working out all right.
Whoever edits the audio, I'm sure they cleaned it up. Can't get any worse than Episode 1.
It would be good to go back to 1999, when Star Wars Episode 1 trailers were hitting the TV, because there really wasn't an internet back. I mean, there was an internet, but online video streaming was the worst.
No, I meant Episode 1 of the London show. See, the audio can't get any worse than that one. But also, yeah, what you were saying about Star Wars, that's important too, all that stuff.
I don't know, I thought the audio in the prequels was pretty good.
Except for all the Misas. I heard a lot of that.
I felt that was really racist. I'm not sure against whom, but it felt really racist.
If it's not a white person talking and it's done comically, then it's racist.
Yes, very nicely put. Does anyone else have any thoughts on the idea of a prequel reboot?
There's plenty of people online who have argued plenty about how the prequels should have been done. But it would be funny if we were to get the animation crew of Koplaidr to do a little clip show of stuff. Now coming soon, the Star Wars prequels done right. And just have a bunch of action shots of different stuff from the Star Wars prequels, but done right this time. I can't think of any good examples off the top of my head of what those scenes would be, but I'm sure they would be good.
Padme, what are you doing? I was evil the whole time. No! That was my big idea of what they could do to improve the prequels. It was Padme who turned Anakin to the dark side. Intentionally.
Wow. Okay, let's move on to some more interesting topics, shall we? Or rather, let's move on to some more topical topics, shall we? Here at Koplaidr, we have lots of characters, and we want to introduce some of them to you before we really flesh them out into their own projects. Today, we're going to talk about Harvard Wellington. Would you care to introduce Harvard Wellington to us? Who is he?
I'm glad you asked, and actually in anticipation of you asking that, I brought him into the studio. Say hello, Harvard Wellington.
Oh, there's a microphone here. Oh, yes, these silly things. Am I supposed to talk into the microphone? Very well. Name's Harvard Wellington. You might know me as the owner of Wellington Ball Bearings. It's a very lucrative company, although I have managers who run it. I don't really know what they do. They just make me lots of money. I like to spend my summers and springs and winters and also falls on various cruises. It's just the relaxing thing to do. I've been all over the world on a cruise ship. Except for the bad parts of the world, I don't like going there. Although no part of the world is a bad part of the world if you have enough money on you. There's always good shopping if you know where to look. Does anyone have any questions for me?
What's a typical day look like for you, Harvard Wellington?
I like to get up around 12:30 in the afternoon. Have a large breakfast. You know, nothing overblown, just 4 or 5 courses. And from there I do a light jog around the ship. Or if I don't feel up to it, I'll pay someone to do my jogging for me. You have to stay fit, and you can't weasel your way out of good exercise. But you can buy your way out. From there I like to relax in the sauna, maybe get some fancy drinks. And that will last me for about 6 to 12 hours. And there's little meals scattered throughout, naturally. Must always stay eating. Keeps the digestive system strong and healthy.
And now, we've heard that you have quite the impressive staff. Can you tell us more about the people you employ and what roles they have around your home or cruise ship, I guess?
Well, I have people who go with me on the ship, of course, but then I also have a large staff who takes care of the mansion, walks the pets, polishes the doorknobs, you know, those important hourly tasks.
Do you get out much, see movies, eat at restaurants, any of those sort of things? Like, how do you manage your public life?
Oh, the only way someone as rich as me can manage their life. I bring the public to me, of course. They bring in a projector showing whatever it is, the big movies the kids will be watching in the theater in a few months. I get to see it early, of course. Yes, like I said, I like to go to restaurants. They usually pay me to go to them because, having someone like me in a restaurant is a huge boost to their star rating. And I usually bring a friend or two, whoever is willing to put up with me for the time.
Tell us about your family. We want to know some things about your brothers, if you could tell us more about that.
Oh, yes, them. I have quite a few brothers, actually. There's my older brother, Nigel Wellington. He's a bit of a stock trader type person. He's really into that business scene that everyone talks about these days. He's rather wealthy, of course, and he brags that he's more wealthy than I am, but you couldn't tell if you looked at him. He doesn't spend any of it. I mean, goodness, what's the point of having that money if you're not going to spend it on anything? He just keeps investing and investing and investing, and I don't know where it ends, really. There's also my younger brother, Simon Wellington, and, well, he's the bit of the black sheep of the group. He doesn't have any income of his own, but, he's inherited a large portion of the Wellington fortune. Our family goes back quite a few generations, and he's really big into the gaming scene. He's just buying all the consoles, and it's really quite embarrassing for the family, having a lowly peasant gamer. I pay people to game for me, as you can imagine, but I've never touched the things myself.
We might have to have Simon come on sometime. We're trying to get a Koplaidr gaming video series going up. But thank you, Mr. Wellington. We hope to have you here again soon.
It's been a pleasure. I'll accept my paycheck as I'm going out the door.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that to you. Someone will just go through that one-way door there, leads out onto the street, and we'll get around to you at some point.
Oh, yes, this one here. Ah, yes, I can tell by the smell of peasants outside. Well, I'll see you all later.
Ah, what a posh individual. I just feel more refined having him around the studio.
Yes, he's quite the character. I have no idea why he likes hanging out around us. He's taken up an interest in peasants recently, and I guess he likes us for that reason. What do we have next? Oh yes, the horrifying YouTube autoplay. So I put this one on the agenda, and whenever you have a friend put on a YouTube video, and the video ends, and it says 10 seconds until the next video starts playing, and you start freaking out, why do you have autoplay turned on? It's like, I don't know, I never watched YouTube. What is wrong with you? Oh no, it's starting. I don't know what this video is. Oh, it's weird.
I've always found autoplay on YouTube to be so random and scatterbrained. You never know what's going to play next, whether it's suggested for you or this is somehow related. Yes, I can see how the manufacturing of textiles in Pakistan is related to this comedy show or Let's Play by Markiplier. But even more funny is the fact that people leave it on. Who does that?
I know. It's almost as annoying as not having ad block.
We better not go there. That's a bit too controversial for this scene.
Remember, viewers, watch all the ads to our videos, and be sure to click on them, and use the keyword Koplaidr whenever you order anything, even if we don't have sponsor deals.
But yeah, autoplay. Sometimes I think there should be a game on YouTube where you keep score of what different tangent videos come up. Like, what if you left YouTube just running on autoplay and you got dinner, lunch, whatever time of the day it is, go out, walk the dog, maybe watch the sunset, catch in something on cable because apparently that's a thing still, don't know why.
Watch Star Wars the motion picture.
Yeah, then come back and see where it's at. I just remembered all those times we've Chromecast onto TV and certain individuals do not know how to turn off autoplay, and so things just go, and the next thing you know, watching a documentary about Gilligan's Island. How did we get there? I don't know.
But every time you see that timer come on, you just feel this unprecedented sense of horror. Like, please, make it stop! Oh my gosh, it's almost a 1!
Nuclear crisis has begun, countdown commencing.
Are there people who actually use that feature?
Well, maybe like if you listen to a lot of music on YouTube, it could work. I don't know, that's what Thomas says he uses it for.
I feel like, and I do listen to music on YouTube because who has time to listen to music any other way? YouTube should be my new music player. Anyway, you can create playlists. Who needs autoplay when you just have a playlist? I guess if you're like Pandora, where it does that kind of shuffles on similar themes and genres, then you can discover, happen upon new music.
Well, even when I'm looking at the links on the side for new songs, it's going to be like a 1 in 10 chance that the one I'm actually interested in is the one that's going to play next. So it's like it's not worth it. It's the number of good hits versus bad hits is improportional. It's too low for me.
It's YouTube software. They're trying, alright? They're trying.
Well, they're not trying hard enough. I want to be able to shake YouTube and say, entertain me, and have it come up with something that's good every time.
Now you make YouTube sound like this poor abused worker on the internet, shaking it, entertain me. No, please. I'll be nice. I'll put up something good. Slap, slap, slap. You're not entertaining enough. I hate you.
Although, the way you said that made me think it might be fun to have, like, a random video button on YouTube. Like, you know how Wikipedia has a random article button? Make something like that on YouTube. Like, you could find just the randomest of videos.
I don't know. That sounds like a really bad way to stumble upon something racist, pornographic, or offensive in any other way.
Might find something weird, like How to Make a Burger by Country Bob, or Old Man Beard.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch that crap.
Or how to open a microwave without being seen.
Okay, this next topic. I think you picked it, sis, didn't you?
Ah, yes, Peripheral Disambiguation. Have you heard the new book, Robert? Dr. Merlin B's Guide to Peripheral Disambiguation?
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's on my Amazon wish list. I should probably read it. It looks like it would be interesting, but maybe I'm psyching myself up for it. It's a pretty thick book.
Well, it has got a whole chapter on Voldemort, so there's some incentive for you.
What's the context for Voldemort being in this book?
It's Peripheral Disambiguation, Richard. Voldemort's pretty peripheral.
I've been told it's a very logical set of arguments as you read through it. Every topic flows into the next one, so it's just a really stimulating read.
What is being Okay, let me put it to you this way. What is ambiguous that they are making unambiguous?
Things on the peripherals. Hence the title.
So are we talking about like culture's peripheral? Because there's a lot of things on the periphery. There's a lot of things on the outlying ends of society that aren't the best.
Well, obviously it only goes with the good ones. You know, the ones that are really cool that you probably haven't heard of before.
Oh my gosh, this is a hipster book.
Dr. Merlin B is an accredited academic, okay? He's no hipster. I hope.
What is wrong with you? He's not a dirty, rotten hipster. Don't compare him to that lowly group.
I hear he recently took up a teaching position at an exclusive private school in England. Actually, it's in Scotland.
Better. I was about to knock you on your Harry Potter trivia. We should probably look into this guy at some future point in our Harry Potter animations, because those are going to be a thing.
Yeah, we're stumbling deep into the inside joke territory, which is appropriate because this is Peripheral Disambiguation, but maybe it's time to do another topic. So I was thinking about the movie Batman vs. Superman, and I was super skeptical of it, like why would the two good guys fight each other?
See, the scenario or the premise, if you will, has never bothered me. Heroes are always fighting with each other. It happens in literature and movies.
All the Avengers movies.
The fact that we added superheroes onto it just immediately turns people off to the idea. But just read some of Brandon Sanderson's stuff. People are always... It's good drama if you have protags fighting each other. So the premise never bothered me. It was the execution that I knew was going to be flawed.
And that was the similar conclusion that I came to. The difference between a good idea and a bad idea is that any idiot can execute a good idea well, but it takes someone really genius to execute a bad idea well. So my idea, Batman's this really dark and gritty superhero with all these problems, and Superman's the happy, flying around, sunshiny superhero. Then I thought, well, what if we turned that on its head? Like, Superman came out of Man of Steel just completely messed up. You could take all the complaints that the fans have about how he killed a ton of people and just lay that onto him. And then on top of that, he's being visited by the ghost of Zod, who's just constantly putting him down.
I really like this Ghost of Zod character idea. I have no idea what the mechanic is to bring him in, but I feel like he could be saying some really mean and funny stuff at the same time. Hey, Superman, you fly funny.
I think Batman vs. Superman needs a lot more Zod, and not just as a naked dead guy. So anyway, Superman... Oh, and Lex Luthor is totally playing to Superman's weakness. So he's confusing him, he's mocking him, he's putting him down.
And he is also not played by Jesse Eisenberg.
No.
He could be played by Harrison Ford.
And so Superman is, he's slowly starting to go crazy. So everyone turns to Batman saying, "You gotta save us from this guy." And then this is where the brilliant part of the idea comes in. It's like, how would Batman survive more than 5 seconds against Superman? And the answer is, he completely kicks Superman's butt. Like, completely. Do you guys know the fairy tale about the hedgehog and the rabbit?
I don't know where you're going with this, but I love it.
I don't believe I've heard the fairy tale of the hedgehog and the rabbit before.
It's kind of the dark and gritty version of the tortoise and the hare. This is a Grimm's fairy tale, like all good fairy tales. So the rabbit is making fun of the hedgehog, saying, "You're a hedgehog. You have crooked legs. You're not as fast as a rabbit." And so the hedgehog gets mad at the rabbit and says, "You know what? Let's have a race." And the rabbit says, "Okay, we'll do it at this time." And so the hedgehog goes home. And he gets his wife and he says, "Get dressed, we're going to go have a race." And the wife says, "Okay." And so there's these 2 trenches that are dug out. They're each going to run down their own trench to see who gets to the other end first. And so the hedgehog puts his wife at the finish line. And when they say go, the rabbit runs to the finish line. And the hedgehog's wife pretends to be him. And she says, "Oh, I'm already here. Hey, I know, let's race back." And so the rabbit's like, "How did you beat me?" So he says, "Okay, we'll race back." And he runs back. And the hedgehog is back at the start. And he says, "Oh, I'm already here. Let's race back again." And the rabbit's like, "How did you beat me again?" And so he races back. And they have him going back and forth. The rabbit has no idea that there are 2 hedgehogs. And he runs himself to death.
Are we going to have 2 Batmans here?
We can have as many Batmans as we want. But the point is that Batman's just having a good time sending Superman all over Gotham, just running him ragged until Superman just drops and he's completely beaten. And then this is where the plot twist comes in. It turns out that that no one wanted Batman to defeat Superman except for Lex Luthor and the Joker. Yes, both of them. They wanted to pit Batman versus Superman so that maybe they would both kill each other, or one would kill the other, but either way, it would be good for at least one of them, so they're working together. And so once Superman is down and they show up and they have some kind of super weapon that they're gonna kill them both with, and so Batman has to help Superman up, and they both have to work together to stop the 2 of them. And then Batman, he becomes like Superman's mentor, and help Superman to deal with his trauma, because like that's what Batman is good at, is being super hopeful even in the darkest of times. And so in the end, Batman is the hopeful and happy one, and Superman is the gritty and dark one, and they have to help each other to save the day.
Now I really, really want this to be the new Superman vs. Batman reboot. That's right, we're rebooting it. You can keep Wonder Woman though, she was okay.
Okay, talking about reboots. Batman, Superman, Star Wars crossover.
That would be terrible, because Darth Vader would kick all of their butts.
Oh yeah, that would happen.
I'm still waiting on the Superman Avengers crossover because Disney owns all the franchises.
Disney doesn't own Superman, I don't think.
Not yet, anyway.
Well, while we're on the subject of talking about reboots, is there any films you guys would like to see rebooted?
Is this a lead-in to The Cat from Outer Space?
Yes, we should reboot The Cat from Outer Space.
I think that there's a video or a movie that Disney did a long time ago that needs to be rebooted. Have you ever heard of Song of the South?
That's it. Stop the recording. I'm gonna kill this guy.